primer's dry, and we've checked it all for the seams and anything that's, you know, we don't like. Okay, so it's nice and smooth, as you can see. Gone on fantastic. That's just where I obviously just had the bogies in place. So next step is for top coat. So let's talk olive drab. Okay, now olive drab. Loads of different manufacturers do a shade of olive drab. Loads of different shades of olive drab. You can go down a complete rabbit hole of trying to figure this out. So what I'm going to do is gonna go with Attackers lacquer based, which is C065, which is a US Army olive drab, as you can see. Now this is, as you can see, it's settled, but it needs a good waking up. It's going to be dark for my taste, if I'm honest. Okay, it's gonna be okay for a bit of a base undercoat, but really I want to be going a bit lighter than that. So I've also got the 018, which is the late olive drab. Now this is, as I can gather, the Air Force One, but again, it's not a bad colour and it does count as olive drab. Also, what I'm going to do is probably just drop some sand in it. Okay, you can go sand, buff, grey, you know, deck tan. I think you're free to go where you want. All right, you've got to bear in mind, I think US olive drab originally, when it was on, is actually quite a dark green. It doesn't really translate overly well to models, if I'm honest. It can look it's a bit Panzer grey. It's very dark, it's very monotone, and it's very boring, if we're honest. So I'm going to go for a stylised version of olive drab. I think that's the best way to put it. So there's going to be a lot of light and, you know, dark and shades, and just to try and bring out some of the shapes of the tank. So you'll see as we progress. First thing I'm going to do though is I'm just going to attach the turret. I'm going to take a light sort of this silk grey, which is kind of a warm grey, and what I'm going to do is just give it a mist coat or a kind of a highlight coat. Alright, so we're going to go for, with this being so dark, it's going to take a bit of covering, and green is, even though olive drab's not a bad cover, it can be notorious for just sucking it in and making it dark. So I just want to do a few highlight patches just to make it pop. So that's where I'm going to go first. So I've got the airbrush loaded up. What I'm going to be doing is, like I say, I'm going to be using that colour and the good old leveling thinner. You know, thins anything and everything by the, you know, the tests we've done on the Flory channel. So I've got my little mixing cup, as you can see. So I'm just going to put a few drops in there. And just wake this up. It's got a few drops of that in there. Now we're going to do quite a thin mix, so just got a pipette. And a good slug of thinners in there. So I'm not one for mixing ratios, if I'm honest, but you know, it is going to be quite thin, which is what I want. So give that a good mix. So basically what we're going to be doing is underpainting, for a better word. Alright, just going to use my trusty old Evo for this. Sorry if you can hear the compressor. I've just got the old Evo pressured 10 psi tops. keep it. Alright, so put the turret roughly in where it should be, and then what we're going to do is just make sure that's tight. Just highlight these hatches. And then just generally the top of the turret where the light had hit. You don't want to go mad, you don't want to be putting like really thick coats on. Like I say, the green's going to go over the top. This is just a bit of an undertone for just making some sort of highlight colours. Right, so as you can see, there's going to be nothing neat, nothing fancy with this. It's just basically just laying some colour on. So what I'll do is carry on, get this highlighted, and then we'll come back for the proper olive drab colours. So we lay down our light undercoat. So next up, like I said, we're going to put on the olive drab top coat. So what I'm going to do is, I've still got some of the sort of beigey grey colour left. So I'm going to use that because I don't want to go straight in with the dark tone. Okay, I do want to lighten it up a little bit, and as like I say, instead of wasting paint, we've got that in there, so that's what we're going to do. So again, going to have to give this a good wake up. Get this off the bottom. Right, so that's pretty much woken up. So what we're going to do is add some of that into the mix. See what we've got. Okay, we still want a darkish mix, but so there we go. Again, this is just my take of doing it on the fly. If you're doing it, you can go whichever direction you want really with the olive drab. This is just the way I'm doing it just for this build. But if I, you know, I did another build, I'd probably go a different way. So, okay, that's pretty thin as well, to be honest. It's quite, I don't want this mix too thin. I'll tell you what I am going to do. This is, so I've got a little bit of gloss clear here. I'm just going to put a drop of that in as well, so we've got a satin finish. It's not really necessary because they are already satin, but it does give a nice smooth finish, especially when it's mixed with the leveling thinner as well. I'm just going to put another couple of drops in there. Will do. So same airbrush. I'm going to take the safety cap off, if you want to call it that. Needle guard. So again, always handy just before you hit your model is to grab a kitchen towel or something similar. Do a test spray, make sure everything's flowing nice. Okay, lovely, not a problem. So we'll start from the top as it's easy to film. Same here, just take your time, relax, just start building it up, okay? Again, the joy with these lacquer paints is you don't need high pressure. It's a really low pressure, which means you can get really close in, and what you're doing then is actually putting paint on your model rather than into the atmosphere. I'm going to use obviously the dark mahogany brown as well as a bit of a shade colour. So can use that to our advantage as well, just to some shadow bits. All right. So as you can see with the turret, we're just building it up gradually. No laying loads of it on in one go. We're just gonna be steady, take your time, like I say, relax and enjoy it. Enjoy the process. I think, you know, I'm guilty of it as well as many other people are just wanting to get things painted. But I think when you can take a little step back, just get in the zone, you'll come out with better results. So I'm going to carry on laying this darker base coat down, and then we'll come back and then we'll just start doing some fancy highlighting and modulating and other, you know, whatever else we want to call it really. So all right, we'll see you soon. Okay, so what I've done is took a bit of the colour I've just been using there, sort of browny version, decanted it into a fresh little pot. And now what I'm going to do again, I'm going to lighten it another touch again, which was, this is the original colour I was using, just to lighten up some of the panels before I put the olive drab on. Okay, so it's quite a warm sort of deck tan colour, I suppose. It's a warm grey. So a couple of drops of that. Okay, back onto a bit of leveling thinner as well, just to keep it nice and thin. So these are going to be pretty subtle changes. It's going to try and keep it nothing drastic. So if we do go too far, if we did go too far, lightening it, we can bring it back. We've always got the sort of a mid-tone, I suppose, if that's what you want to call it. It's not bad practice, to be honest, to sort of keep them separate, like your base tone and then your lighter and lighter and lighter tones, or even darker as well, if that's the way you're going. So I'm just going to put a drop in there. Alright, so again, always just do a test, make sure it's flowing, which that is. Just get some of the old stuff out. Alright, so back on there. So again, I'm just going to do the same as before. Just kind of model it on. Again, we're not adjusted the air pressure, not touch the airbrush in any way, we're just carrying on from what we were just doing previous. So just building layers up again. Okay. And once you get to this stage, this is personal taste of how far you want to go or not. You know, if you want to go really light or keep it, you know, subtle or closer to the original olive drab, whichever. It's you know, it's your model, it's your choice. Alright, so there you can see where I'm going with this. So again, I'm going to carry on, and then we'll come back and see if it needs lightening anymore, or we're going to leave it and then move on to getting the decals down and getting it sealed in, and then on with the weathering. So okay, we'll see you back in a moment. So that's the last coat on, which was the lighter version again. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop there, to be perfectly honest. I don't want to go any further with that, because we're going to just go into I don't know, a real sort of, not a shade of olive drab I want to go with. So what I'm going to do next is, as you can see, we've done a bit of streaking and wear down the sides as well. So again, more on one side than the other, but you can see there's a bit, you know, bit at the back. Again, once it's all got its dust and dirt, it's all going to just blend in anyway. So next thing to do, I think it's pretty nice smooth satin coat as it is. So I'm going to get the decals, decal it up. So we'll whack the decals on, get them settled, get them down and bedded in. And then I'm going to give it a satin coat, I've decided, just to seal everything in, make sure the decals are laid down perfect for the weathering process. And then we'll come back with all the washers and dirt, mud and grime, and you know, all that good stuff. So alright, so thank you for watching this episode, and I'll be back next one for decaling and clear coating.